I don't know if this is recording. Actually, yeah, it's recording now. All right. What's up, guys? It's been a hot minute. Been about a month or maybe even 2. I don't really remember. I remember the last time I posted a video was back in November or October-ish. Like late October, early November, somewhere around there. That's I haven't been posting, as some of you have noticed. I got in a comment about it recently. It kind of motivated me to make a new video because, all the drama, all the chaos of the past month is starting to settle down. You know what I'm saying? A lot happened. A lot happened, which maybe I will discuss in another video, but I will. Well, some of it. It's so much where it'd have to be multiple videos of me talking about different things, and at the same time, I don't know if I can really take a lesson from all of it, Some of the things, it's just, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like everything is, it's not like you can learn, there's not like there's much I can, provide as something to learn about in a lot of these. Because a lot of it is just, little middle schooler bullshit. I'm not in middle school, but these people act like they're in middle school, and they do dumb middle schooler shit. Spread rumors, all that little girl shit. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of it is that, which, that stuff you kind of just gotta kind of is what it is. Your real ones don't listen to the rumors. You know what I'm saying? That's all I could say for anybody in that kind of position. Your real ones don't listen to the rumors. Stay by your side, and they only really listen to what you say or what somebody they actually trust says, not your enemies. You know what I'm saying? So that's my advice in that situation. But I feel like that's pretty obvious. I feel like, I don't know. Now, what I wanted to talk about today, guys, is something that I found very interesting. I found it very interesting, and I wanted to talk about it now. Over the past month or so, right? A lot of things have happened. Like I said, I'm kind of repeating myself. I don't really know where to begin this. Put it simply, I found out that about this thing we're going to call it kind of like emo, or really more generally alternative, but I feel like with the emos, it's the best, example, the kind of double standard, the gender double standard there. Now, I tried making a video about this earlier, a little bit, 2 months ago, got taken down. I was like, whatever, I'll talk about it later. Today is the time to talk about it, because it kind of ties into everything that happened. I don't know what that is, but it kind of ties into everything that happened pretty nicely. So, as you guys may know, with all the hot topic stuff I showed y'all's, I'm a bit of a kind of emo guy. I wouldn't really say I'm all the way emo, in the way that I'm not just emo. I'm more I'm all alternative punk. So I could be pop punk, I could be skate punk. Emo falls under that umbrella. All that kind of stuff is kind of what I identify with. Right, that's kind of my thing, and I am also a male, if you guys couldn't tell. I think that was pretty obvious, though, from a lot of the content I've been making and my voice, but, I'm not a girl. I'm a straight dude as well, which I feel like is important to the story. I feel like is somewhat important, kind of makes it kind of more funny, in a way. If you want to take it in a more lighthearted way, it kind of makes it more funny, because I'm actually, so what recently has been happening is your boy has been getting bullied, right? Now, I've been bullied before, and, it is what it is. You just gotta stick up for yourself, and, that's really all you can do in those situations. So I've gotten into 2 fights in, the span of a week. We get into another one, I would get expelled from school, which is a pretty big deal, but, whatever. both of them pretty much over the same thing. I'm the weird guy who paints his nails and wears those like emo stripe, like the arm warmers. You know what I'm talking about? I got like kind of an emo haircut. I wouldn't say it's like the direct like kind of emo thing, but it's like emo. It's like emo adjacent. You know what I'm saying? And to somebody who doesn't really know much about any of that stuff, I'm like an emo guy, which isn't completely wrong, but isn't like completely right either. And I've been called the F slur. I got into a fight with the one guy who was actually really funny. I fucking hit him with my studded belt. Very funny, actually. Very funny. And the other one is just like some other kid. Whatever. I think he like broke his hand because he kind of like got me onto the ground and he punched the shit out of the fucking ground because he's an idiot. Whatever. I wouldn't say I'm too beat up from either of those. I don't really. I had to do it because these guys were picking on me, and look, I know the mature, correct thing to do is to like tell authorities, but I'm in high school. I don't want to be seen kind of or perceived kind of as a pushover because it's just going to make my life worse. Now, I'm not saying those things made my life better, but what it did do is people don't do that stuff to me, And that's my advice to anybody in that situation. You gotta just stick up for yourself and beat the shit out of them. Even if you lose, it shows that you're at least willing to fight over it, which is more than especially most people, especially with Gen Z. These guys, not very Gen Z and Gen Alpha, I guess, but these guys aren't very tough big guys. A lot of these guys just aren't that guy. So even then you probably don't have to worry about much, and they can find other people to pick on. If you go fight them about it, there will be drama. That's just what's gonna happen. You're in high school, it is what it is, or middle school, whatever. You know what I mean. There's gonna be drama, of course, but you just kind of gotta take the drama on the chin and move on. Don't let it bother you too much. Don't get too shaken up about it. You just gotta kind of move on from that stuff and be more mature and not really engage in that like I have been doing. And here's the thing about this, right? So here's the thing that I wanted to talk about. This shit does not happen to girls, at least not at my school. Actually, the girls, even the alternative ones, are the ones who are participating and encouraging this. Laughing along and shit, which is interesting to say the least. It's a really weird double standard that girls are allowed to do this stuff, and but guys are not. And I don't just mean the emo thing, just like any alternative stuff in general. And a lot of the main thing about the emo thing is kind of how like the male emo is pretty feminine looking. He's got like eyeliner. He's got kind of, I wouldn't say long hair, but like longer hair. Got skinny jeans, that kind of thing. And a lot of alternative girls, especially nowadays, got the baggy jeans, like nu metal type of look. And that's, kind of associated with like masculine stuff, but nobody really cares when it's a girl. But when it's a guy, kind of doing like non-gender conformist dressing, then it's not cool anymore. If a girl walks around in like really baggy definitely male short, or not shorts, like pants, wears a Slipknot t-shirt, got fucking piercings and shit, all that stuff, nobody's really gonna care. Fuck, she could shave her head and, most people won't care. Actually, nobody's gonna like bully them. Like, at least in my experience, I'll let the girls speak for themselves, but I feel like even for the ones that are getting bullied, I'm not denying that you're not. I'm just saying it's the ratio of it happening to them are way less than with men, who do or are into this kind of stuff. Because when it's a dude walking around in, skinny jeans, eyeliner, I don't have eyeliner, but you know what I'm talking about. Eyeliner, he's got his hair dyed, black nails. I do have black nails, so I can't show you guys right now because it's fucking like middle of the night. You know, when it's that, now there's a problem. Now people don't like that. Even the conservatives, yes, even like conservative kind of like farmer dudes, they don't care if girls do that stuff, that non-gender conformist dressing stuff. They don't care. When it's a guy, it's a problem. And I feel like this double standard really like highlights, you know, a lot of the black pill stuff. Really kind of proves it, because like, I mean, I don't even know how you can argue against that. I mean, like, either you're all the way like you want people to dress how they, according to their gender or whatever, or you're like the other way where people can dress however they want. And a lot of people actually are kind of in the middle, which is very hypocritical. Because, you know, if men are and women are equal, right? Don't they have this? Don't the same kind of rules apply? Now, I do believe men and women are equal. So, you know, at least should both be treated like human beings and should be held to the same standards. That's what I believe. And in this situation, they're not being held to the same standards. And a lot of people would probably say they should, but then they see that one of those femboy guys in a skirt or whatever, and then the whole narrative changes. Now it's weird. I don't understand that. I think that's very hypocritical. I'd like to hear from a lot of conservatives, a lot of those people on the right especially, what they think about this. Because I think a lot of them, this you know, I'm not a leftist or anything. You know, I wouldn't say I'm more on the progressive side when it comes to social things, but I'm not like, you know, I don't really care about that stuff at the end of the day. But if you are, I think this is an S tier argument, okay? And same thing with the black pill, because it really shows how men are held to different standards than women. Men should go to gender conformist, you know, they should gender conformist, but women shouldn't. You know, that's a double standard right there. So that kind of very good argument for the black pill there, if you ask me. Even if a lot of black pill people probably don't really like male emos or emo anything in general, it still kind of proves the point nonetheless. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, that's kind of very hypocritical, I found, for that to be. I don't know what's up with that. I would like to hear what you guys think in the comments about this, and I'd like to hear about some of your bullying stories, because mine's so far a little crazy, you know. Now, time to get into more of the, I have like 7 more minutes left. These usually are around 20 minutes. You know, I've definitely been bullied before. I'd have friends. My buddy Patrick from my old town, used to get beat up like every day over this kind of thing. So, and you know, now it's happening to me. You know, I'm starting to get into fights and drama over this. So this topic hits very close to home for me. Very close to home. Right. Sorry, my nose is stuffy. You know, I haven't been feeling the best, actually. Kind of under the weather, but it is what it is. You know, I'll get better. You know, like, it's very, it definitely hits very close to home. I know a lot of the stuff from experience. All my friends in my old town, they're all some type of alternative, you know, which I'll talk about what happened to them recently. In probably a different video, because the whole friend group kind of fell apart, but, you know, the ones I have left, at least, are all kind of the more alternative ones. My buddy Joe, he's kind of like he listens to, like, nu metal and grunge. It's kind of stuff he's into. It's indie as well, even though I think indie's pretty stupid. You know, you can like it, I don't care. It's still alternative. My buddy Corbin, he's into grunge and like stuff like that, you know, grunge guy. You know what I'm saying? Those are like the only two. The other 2 friends in the group actually aren't alternative. but they do respect it enough. They do respect it, and my buddy Gabe, he's kind of got an alternative kind of look to him, though he isn't really into it, and I don't think he does it intentionally. I think he just likes having long hair, and his hair color just happens to be black, so it just kind of makes him look like that, even though he may not, doesn't even really participate in any of that stuff. He's more on the nerd side of things when it comes to like a subculture. He's more of a nerd for sure, and not as much as like an alternative guy like myself. you know. That's so to summarize everything. The emo double standard, I believe, is a very compelling argument to the black pill and to like kind of progressive stuff. I'm not as big into the black pill as I was earlier, mostly because it's very defeatist, and it's hard to like, be a functioning human being and listen to that stuff all the time. Doesn't mean I don't think it's true. It just means I just don't like to participate in the community because, as true it is, they're speaking the truth and all. It's just very toxic, though, to just think about that stuff like all the time. There's nothing wrong with believing it. Just like, little piece of advice. If you are in there's a lot of negativity in your community. You don't want to stay in that negativity. You don't want to stay around that community because that'll bring you down, and you just don't want to be around that kind of stuff. Even if it's true, even if that stuff they're saying is true, it's still really negative, and you got other things, more important things to worry about. And I believe your happiness should be, number one. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to believe in all the blue pill stuff. All that means is just don't go around listening to black pill stuff all the time. It's gonna fuck up your brain. It kind of fucked up mine when I was getting into it because I listen to it a lot, way more than I should. Nowadays, I kind of take a healthy dose, maybe 1 or 2 black pill videos per month. Just trying to see what's going on, what people are talking about. This one guy, Random Hero Gaming, I really like his stuff. Wheat Waffles, also pretty good stuff he makes. More on the analytical side when it comes to black pill content. But, yes. That's all I wanted to say in this video, I guess. And, to kind of just clarify why I haven't been around. Sorry. Very sick, like I said. But to clarify why I haven't been around, a lot of drama. Drama that probably will continue. It is what it is. I'm just trying to be left alone, honestly. I don't even want to deal with it, but it is what it is. You just gotta do stuff like that sometimes. That's life. Haven't been around because of that. So not very motivated. I did notice my Gen Alpha video got like 85 views, which is impressive to me because I didn't think there'd be more than like 10 people watching any of my videos, but apparently people like watching them. I saw a comment from this person yesterday that kind of motivated me to make a video because I'm like, yeah, you know what, these guys like watching my stuff, maybe I should make a video for them and just tell them what's been going on. I want to make more videos, but a lot of times again, like I said, personal life stuff gets in the way. School, for me, midterms are starting to come up, so I'm probably gonna want to study and stuff because it's gonna be very stressful. A lot of big things, and there's like new drama because of something that happened pretty recently. It was about a week ago, as directly has to do with me, which I might talk about because I think it's an interesting thing to talk about. I haven't really talked about it because I haven't really experienced it, but I'll talk about that in a different video. But yeah, that's what's been going on, everybody. All y'all's have a good day and stuff. Much clown love. That's what I'm gonna say today. I'm gonna use the Juggalo phrase. Much clown love to you all. And yeah, that's all. Bye.